The US military has a very real problem, and in fact, some of you watching right now are it. So we've got to talk about that as well as the controversial moves we're seeing the military make to try to address it. Because the problem is that US military recruitment numbers are plummeting, with recent Pentagon data showing us that this is affecting all branches of the military. The Army hitting less than 70% of its goal, the Navy hitting 60%, the Air Force hitting 87%, and the numbers for reserve recruitment's even worse, with the Air, Navy, and Army Reserve all hitting around 60% of their recruitment goals. And one of the key things here is that this is a relatively new problem. For the fiscal years of 2019 through 2021, each of the branches actually met or exceeded their recruitment goals. In fact, even the reserves and National Guard either met their goals or came close in 2019. And according to a recent report from the Government Accountability Office, recruitment and retention is a critical challenge to national security, with them highlighting 3 key areas where they say that the Pentagon is floundering in their efforts, saying they haven't collected or tracked sufficient data to help support recruitment and retention decisions, they do not have sufficient goals, plans, or strategies to guide it, and they're not effectively monitoring their own efforts for recruitment. Which brings us to the why. Why are the recruitment numbers so low? Why don't the kids want to join the military these days? Well, some Republicans have argued that the recruiting problems are rooted in the woke agenda, with representatives like Jim Banks from Indiana saying that the military is in danger of losing its meritocratic principles to, quote, the ever-expanding bureaucracy of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, regulations, and trainings. You also have the other side of the aisle quick to shut down that theory, with Democratic Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, who's also the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, saying, let me be clear, diversity and inclusion strengthens our military. By every measure, America's military is more lethal and ready than it has ever been. It is also more diverse and inclusive than ever before. This is not a coincidence. With Reed then going on to cite an Army survey saying that the main reasons that young adults do not want to enlist are fear of death or injury, worries about PTSD, and separation from friends and family. And nowhere on the list of deterrents is it that the military is too woke. But whatever their reasoning, young people just are not joining the military as frequently as they used to. And an irony of this situation is that while they are facing concerningly low recruitment, the military is also celebrating 50 years as an all-volunteer force this year. But amidst the celebration, some are wondering if that's about to come to an end. Right? Is there or could there be a draft on the horizon? Though to that concern, officials are saying absolutely not, with one Navy commander saying, we are a better force because we are an all-volunteer force. Everybody who joins this force wants to be here. They signed up for this. I think there's something really special about that. And the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness calls the problem of dwindling recruitment headwinds. Recognizing that there is no silver bullet to quickly resolve the current recruiting challenge, the department is working closely with the military services to develop new and creative ways to engage young Americans across all corners of the country, strengthen partnerships with high schools, and elevate our marketing efforts. And in fact, some have taken the creative ways to new heights, like the Georgia National Guard, where they are reportedly trying to combine 2 highly controversial things: military recruiting in high schools and phone location tracking. With The Intercept reporting that according to federal contract documents, the National Guard in Georgia plans to geofence 67 different public schools and targeting phones within a 1-mile boundary of the schools with recruitment ads. So they're looking for vendors to draw a digital border around all these schools and the phones within those bounds to be subject to the National Guard's ad campaign, which will reportedly feature all the bells and whistles that come with surveillance-based advertising, capturing the unique digital IDs of students' phones, IP address tracking, and tracking pixels. And they're also reportedly planning on slapping ads onto every social media platform and even music apps. That is, of course, except TikTok, because the app is banned for the Department of Defense, right? Even for advertising. It also appears that they're planning to go beyond students, with the Guard also reportedly looking into targeting people of influence in the students' lives like coaches, parents, and counselors. And the Department of Defense reportedly expects whatever vendor they go to achieve more than 3 million views and 250,000 clicks on their campaign, with a bid for the contract ending back in February, but a public winner has yet to be announced. And so with all this, the idea has already gotten a lot of pushback, with critics calling the use of location data invasive. Jay Stanley, a senior policy analyst with the American Civil Liberties Union, saying, location-based tracking is not legitimate. It's largely based on the collecting of people's location data that they're not aware of and haven't given meaningful permission for. And an attorney for the ACLU adding, I think we have to start putting electronic surveillance in the context of what we would accept if it weren't electronic. If there were military recruiters taking pictures of students and trying to identify them that way, parents wouldn't think that that conduct is acceptable. Also with this, there's concern that this ad campaign could end up targeting people younger than the DoD intends, with dozens of these schools being targeted also within a mile of middle schools, elementary schools, parks, and churches. But even without the invasive advertising of it all, military recruitment in schools has been a controversial topic for decades. And so obviously that's why we're going to keep an eye out for what's happening in Georgia as well as the nation in general. But with all that said, it brings me to the 2 final things. 1, I'd absolutely love to know your thoughts and opinions on this news, whether it be why you're interested or not interested in joining the military, as well as whatever your thoughts are if you have served or are in the military. And 2, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this morning news video. Of course, this week I'm posting morning news videos in addition to the full Philip DeFranco show, which will be here on the channel at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific like normal. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you right back here a little later today.